I'm Dominic Hopkins, Joint Head of the Central England Office of HCR Hewitson's, HCR Law, official legal partner to the Northampton Saints. And I'm delighted to say that we're joined today by two legends of Northampton Saints, Alex Waller and Tom Wood. They have lifted trophies together, they have led from the front, and they've now started a business venture together. And we're going to hear from them today a little bit about how they've done that, what inspired them, and what their experiences have been in making their business a success. And their business is Waller and Wood, based here in Northampton. Alex and Tom, thank you very much for being with us today. Tell us what Waller and Wood does.
You first?
Okay, I'll go first, yeah. So we're essentially a bespoke carpentry company. We make bespoke furniture. Our USP really is big live edge slab tables, but more or less anything with wood.
The live edge furniture, the big resin tables is kind of the main thing, but we broaden our kind of projects out into anything. It could be timber framing, it could be like garages, carports, or it could be more sort of niche, smaller products. Anything from chopping boards, we've done urns, cabinets, bedside tables, anything along that lines. Just when someone wants something a bit unique, they've got a quirky little space that they can't get something off the shelf, they come to us.
And was there any particular moment in time, that sort of light bulb moment that made you think, this is what I want to do, and now I've left professional sport?
Well, I think we both had an eye on the future in the twilights of our careers. We built this sort of hobby that we were working together on, and I think we sat down one day and essentially worked out we're each other's biggest competition without actually being each other's competition, because if a fan wanted something, they thought we were working together anyway, because we weren't mostly, but we just had two separate companies, so then we combined. And that was probably, 2017 on the shirts.
It was more a case of just gradually accumulating so many tools that we thought we're no longer hobbyists, we're professionals now. We've got more kit than most professional workshops. And, you know, life after rugby is inevitable. You have to transition at some point. Neither of us could really see ourselves in a suit and tie or in an office sort of environment. We need to be working with our hands. We need to spend a bit of time outside and be more practical and hands-on with projects. So we decided, like, we'll do it this way.
And what things have you taken from your very successful professional sports career into business?
I think the ability, especially in elite sport, is to have honest feedback and pretty blunt, not rude conversation. It's pretty open and honest conversation. I think we both
Fairly of them are fairly rude.
Yeah, fairly rude, yeah. For the general public, but we're used to it. But I think it's being able to take that on the chin and move on. No, it's not personal. It's about the business wanting to be better. So for me anyway, the ability for that honest feedback and the ability to then move on and adjust straight away is something we were very used to in the professional sport environment and sort of what we've taken into our business. I'm not sure how one of our apprentices, Ronnie, feels about it, but he's getting used to it as it comes.
Yeah, I mean, the pressures of professional sport and, you know, the crowds, the scrutiny, the media and the cameras and stuff. I mean, you know, if you're too sensitive about things, then things don't happen quickly enough and mistakes get made or the game's over before you know it. And it's the same on a Monday morning meeting, whether it's the highs of a championship and a trophy and something really good and needing to keep your feet on the ground, or whether it's, you know, the lows of a really disappointing performance and missing out on something. You've got to be able to sit there Monday morning and you know, take responsibility for your own and give feedback where appropriate. And you know, it's not always easy, but our ability, I think, from transitioning from a rugby environment and that intense sort of brutal rugby dressing room environment into a business space has really helped us to fast track some of our stuff. And I think that's probably one of our biggest strengths.
It's a sunny day and we're at Cinch Stadium, Franklin's Gardens. This has been a place of great success for Northampton Saints and Tom and Alex, but it's no doubt had its challenges. Business has its challenges. What have been the challenges that you've had as you've started your new venture?
Well, yeah, we've definitely had a few tough days out there as well as the good ones, but probably one of the biggest challenges I think we've found in business is knowing where to put our eggs, if you like. You know, we're general woodworkers, and that can go so broad, and understanding which opportunities we actually have to say no to. Sometimes you can just say yes to everything. That's probably how we started out, wasn't it? Just any project, any opportunity comes along, and you just say yes because you don't know what's going to stick. You don't know which one's going to be the one that actually allows it to sort of take off and grow. But I think eventually we found that we were just saying yes to too much and spreading ourselves too thin, and then you were unable to do a really good job on each project. So I guess being a bit more specific and a bit more selective about, you know, where we put our energy, and we're starting to learn a bit more on that, aren't we?
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's definitely that. For me on a personal level, I think it's more the time management. You spend your life as a professional sportsman being handed your schedule on a Sunday afternoon, go, here's your week, here's it's planned out. And then like it ties in with saying yes to everything. We can sometimes, be working from 4 a.m, sometimes up until like 8 p.m, and further on. So it's all about a bit of time management and saying no to the wrong things, saying yes to the right things. And I think you learn a lot from mistakes anyway, in business and in life and in sport. So you're going to have to make those errors. And I think generally we're starting to turn a corner recently. So
How important has the club and the fans been to you as you're kicking off this venture?
Oh, it's been massive. I mean, it all started really as a hobby that kind of got out of hand, and it's the fans and the guys here that give you those opportunities, that reach out through the network, that give you a little leg up here and there, and give you confidence that you're on the right path. Guys have mentored me from like the backroom staff here to help you transition from rugby and day-to-day rugby into full-time working for yourself business. It's been massive. You can't really say how much the community around here influences what we do and supports us.
We've moved over from the stadium and we're now in the new workshop of Waller and Wood. Big development?
Well, it's very much a work in progress, as you can see. We are just at the stage now where we are starting to bring our tooling in, starting to sort of lay the workshop out as we eventually, it'll be an ongoing progress for a long time, no doubt. Through there is going to be our showroom, and we've been doing some oak framing and stud walling and making sure that it's all ready to go. There's a new floor going in there soon. And yeah, we're going to dress that up so we can showcase some of our products. But all we've done so far really is rip the place to bits and start reassembling it in the last few weeks, haven't we? So it's just about at the stage now where we can start operating out of here.
And have you been enjoying this path, this journey?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's not all smiles and giggles, is it? We have
but life isn't, is it, in general? But yeah,
we have some form of stinker pretty much every day that makes you feel like the world's going to end. And then, like we said earlier, with the rugby sort of mindset of you lose a game on a Saturday, you got to dust yourself off and be ready to train again on Monday. That's kind of the mindset that we take. We've broken machines, we've dropped stuff, we've had deliveries go wrong, there's always some equipment failure or something, a leak in the roof, and you just got to roll with it. The customer's always got to be got to be right as well. So if a product's not quite perfect, you have to go the extra mile to make sure that they get exactly what they want out of it. And some of those things can be frustrating, but you just got to roll with it and make it work.
Well, I think that's it. The customer at the end of the day, is your reputation is everything, and we want to be known as A, the people that deliver a top class product, and B, if something does go wrong, we can correct it with top class service. So that brings its own challenges logistically and time management and financially. But I think that's what we've set out to do, is be the best in class of what we're doing. So that comes with it.
So what advice would you give to those who are currently playing at the Saints or in any other professional sports environment about transitioning into a new life, a new world of work?
I'd probably say in the early days of professional rugby, you've just got to throw everything at rugby to be successful, otherwise you're not going to make it. But as your rugby career progresses, or as you start to look to transition out, there's life outside of rugby. And if you're lucky, you retire at 35, and there's a lot of work in life after that. So having some hobbies, having some things that interest you, having some business opportunities outside of that, networking, all the people in the local rugby community that you can network with, and you can just dip your toe in the water and see if it is finance, if it's business, if it's working for yourself and being entrepreneurial, whatever it is that, whether it's punditry or whatever. Dip your toe in the water and just see what sort of gets your juices flowing, if you like, and then you got to take a chance and do it. You got to start building it, and the first one might not work, the second one might not work, but you got to think about what life looks like after rugby and start putting some plans in place at least. So the transition out of rugby for us has been a lot easier than I think it has been for most, because you had that vision and that something that got you excited in the same way rugby once did.
So rugby's your identity from when you're like 14 up until, like I said, 35 if you're lucky. But I think the thing that helped us is, if you talked about what me and Tom did, rugby was probably fourth on the list in terms of our hobbies and the things we invested in outside of the club. So our identity changed. Yeah, we're not a rugby player anymore, but you don't have that sort of lost identity in a crisis when you come out, and you're now Alex and Tom, the woodworkers or the entrepreneurs or whatever you want to call it. And also giving yourself sort of a buffer, 12 to 18 month buffer, if you can be financially stable enough for 12 to 18 months, just to let stuff settle and see where you end up. Because I know plenty of lads that have gone straight into an office who have really disliked it. Some have really liked it, but because they haven't got that ability to actually take a step back and reassess after they found out they don't like it, they're then stuck in that circle for the next sort of, potentially 20, 30 years.
I guess the main thing, without taking your eye off the ball from a rugby point of view, is don't leave it to the day you retire to go, what now? If you say what now the day you retire, you're going to be scratching your head, and you're going to find that a very stressful situation. Whereas at least if you've started that journey and begun to look at some opportunities outside of rugby, then you can do it with a positive mindset and with a bit more sort of security rather than stress.
So think through a future in good time.
Yeah.
Plan it out if you can and go forward with confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's guys that do degrees and things and apprenticeships and things outside of like open university stuff, don't they? Your brother did that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity and plenty of space.
And lean on the network. All those guys that are the bench holders, box holders, and things like that. When you're out there doing your rounds, make sure you're talking to people and see what opportunities are out there, because most people are only too willing to offer a hand and point you in the right direction.
And that's the great thing about the Saints, actually. It's kind of like a family, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, we've benefited from that massively. So it's a huge opportunity and I'm sure it's very similar across the Premiership and throughout sports. There's always people willing to help and want to invest in you. So you just got to go and ask for it.